Welcome to another episode of Make Marketing Yours. And today we have a very special guest here with us, and she is Susanna Reay. Hi, Susanna, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
Excellent. So Susanna is an introvert coach and also specialized in supporting service-based entrepreneur creating an online business that is authentic and also aligned with who they are. And I think that is very important. And we're going to talk more today. And first of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Susanna?
Yeah, I'm based actually quite near Oxford in the UK. So wherever you're listening in the world, I'm sure you'll pick that one up on my accent. But I've had quite a varied life. So I have lived 3 years in Sydney in Australia. As well, I've lived in the States, I lived in Switzerland and also in France. And that kind of led me to doing the whole online business world and coaching because as I was moving around the world, I couldn't develop a local business because I basically wasn't anywhere long enough for that to work. But when we travel and we move, and the advent of broadband, gosh, back in the early 2000s, made all the difference to be able to work online. And so it's fabulous that we can now dial in to Australia to the UK and have a wonderful connection.
That's exactly right. And online business is perfect when you're actually traveling and you don't have a place to actually settle down and you don't have to go to work like face to face. That is really good. So I believe you are an introvert yourself. Is that right?
That is right, definitely so.
So when you start your own business, how did you overcome this? Because like an online marketer, especially nowadays, you have to present all the time. You have to be in front of your audience all the time. So how do you deal with it?
Well, just to clarify at this point that when you're introverted, as some people are aware, some people aren't, so I think it's just good to broach this now, is when you're introverted, it's how you manage your energies. So you're not shy, it's not like you can't talk about what you do, but you can get very overwhelmed. So you're right that when you say online, you've got to be present a lot. It can feel very exhausting. But luckily, there are some techniques that you can use when you're more introverted. There's wonderful things like schedulers where you can actually schedule your content to go out so you don't have to be 100% on all the social platforms. And that can really help you be present in the sense of putting your message out there. And then it's more about when you choose to comment and respond, because as you know very well, marketing is very much about the conversation and the relationship. It's not a you just throw things out and hope. So by using scheduling is very important, and also finding the methods that connected to me in terms of marketing that I do naturally in terms of my natural tendencies. So rather than trying to do something another coach might have said, yes, you've got to do this all the time, is only do that if I feel like I naturally want to do that rather than forcing myself.
Yeah, that is so true because some people they love blogging and they don't like to be like in front of the like camera to do videos. Then that if you force them to do video, it will be so difficult for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where I say I actually do a lot of video over blogging because, yes, I'm introverted. I love reading. I will consume myself by reading. But I realized as well that I love video in terms of doing anything like interviews or going live even on Facebook, because when you're confident about the knowledge that you have inside of you, actually for me, speaking for 10 minutes, I can impart more wisdom and value in 10 minutes live than I could in 10 minutes writing. So yes, that can be converted and transcribed and it becomes a written blog as part of my sequencing. But I actually find the creation process of just talking speeds up and connects more as well with my audience.
Yeah, that's excellent. So when people actually coming for ask for your help, do they really like an introverted person or they actually have other issues? For example, maybe they don't know how to create an online courses or with other issues rather than like introverted? Because a lot of people think they're introverted, but in fact they are not. So what about your clients?
My clients tend to be a combination that I say my introvert way, which I do business, is really about being, say, aligned to your tendencies and being authentic to who you are. And I do have many clients that they are definitely looking to run or have an online business, in the sense they're looking for something they perceive as a passive income stream. So they're no longer trading time for money, because many of us, we hit an income ceiling in our business. If you only can work, say, 20 hours a week, if you're juggling life around that, people are looking for solutions into how is that possible. But many come to me because I'm introverted, and my programs are based for introverted people, is because I always run small coach group pods as well. I don't believe in having hundreds of people coming through and no personal connection. And myself included, when I started this journey, and I belonged to some of those big programs, say 4 or 5 years ago, I really felt lost in the noise. And it's when people really want to be seen and heard. And it's not that you don't learn from those programs, but as an introvert, you naturally listen first and speak second. So if there's a big coaching call, you will be the last to speak. You'll probably only speak if the coach calls on you personally, because you might not have a question that's front of mind that you think, oh, I know something, so I'll attend. And I learned in these big coach programs is you would always hear from the same people, because they're like, oh, I've got a question, or they'd be chatting at the start. And that doesn't work when we're more introverted, or the other sector of my clients are highly sensitive people, more extroverts who are highly sensitive, because they also have to handle their energies in a different way, because you hit burnout and overwhelm far too fast if you're not careful. And some of the methods that I heard and I suffered myself from at the start, trying to do these methods which were very extroverted, of you've got to like have back-to-back client calls, so you have 10 of those in a day, and then you'll have booked yourself solid for 3 months, do that for 2 weeks. After 3 or 4 client calls, I am exhausted, because I give 100% connection with every client who I work with, even if it's just a let's get connected. I can't help it. So you're right that, coming back to the question where you're saying what else are they looking for? They're looking for this way to develop their business so they can have that flexible lifestyle and balance family life. I mean, a lot of us are juggling kids or elderly parents as well. And we're like, how can we do this and not have to be like answering the phone the whole time or doing different things? So that's their core focus, really, but wanting just a bit more to be seen and heard.
That is so true, because like in a group like coaching call, like the big ones, I am also the quiet one, because those people are always the same people who keeps asking questions, right? And you tend to be the last one to actually ask the question, or the coach actually call on you because you've been so quiet.
Yeah, and it's not that we're not learning. We are learning incredibly, because we're digesting all the information. And it's one of the big differences between introverts and extroverts. For an extrovert to process new information, they have to talk about it. That helps them with the processing. When you're introverted, you take it into your head and you work it out yourself, then either accept or disregard what's being said, and then think about what you want to say, and then it comes out. But for an extrovert, all that happens out loud. So it's very different.
That is very interesting. So for the introvert listeners who are listening to our podcast at the moment, do you have any business tip for them? For example, like, do you suggest that maybe they can do some recorded video first and then go live? Or do you have any like other tips for us?
For if wanting to get going with videos,
Yes.
particularly, or so in terms of getting going with videos, and I'll have to say, I've said right now, I'm happier doing videos. 3.5 years ago, I hadn't done a single recording. I was completely in fear. So if that's you, know I've been there. And the best way to get started is just to share, think about some little tips, something really simple that you can share. It doesn't have to be super personal. And then just make little, as you say, recordings on your phone. You can look at those. Then you can decide, well, maybe I've got something to say. And one of the great things with places like Facebook is you can create your own group and be private to yourself. So if you want to get going and start seeing like, how does the tech work? Because unfortunately, Facebook seems to change every few weeks at the moment. You can create a group that's just for you, or you and your partner, or a best friend if you need someone else in there to give you a bit of feedback and support. Because what I noticed is when I started, it's actually talking to a blank camera and nobody being on the other end is far harder than having someone like this situation where I'm talking with Vanessa, and that you have someone nodding and smiling and encouraging you along, is you'll then be more naturally you. And if you can do that, that makes it easier. So when I started, what I did is I started with a series of interviews where I would just interview people on the topic and bring them into my Facebook page. So my focus, we were just like having a conversation, and we'd share that and people would respond. And that's far less scary than doing a monologue, basically.
Definitely, such a good tip. So I need to bring into my group. If I have a group later on, then it will be more like natural, right? The conversation flow, like everything.
Yeah, because we're human. We much prefer looking into people's eyes than into a camera lens at the end of the day. But another thing people can do as well is just create like a little smiley face emoji and put it right next to the camera, like on your webcam, and look at that. So I'm looking right into the camera now. But then if I look on my screen, which I'm now doing, down to where Vanessa is, you can see the difference with where my eyes go. So it's really important to look into like the eye of the tiger, if you like, and just imagine your best friend is on the other side, because ultimately we all do business person to person, and it's about relationships.
Yeah, it definitely helps because I try to put the smiley face like next to the camera. It definitely helps. I've tried that, so good. So for those who just started the online business, do you have any tips for them? What should they be focusing?
The biggest area everyone needs to focus on, that I see many struggle with, is actually that horrible term that everyone says no, 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 no to. But you do need to have focus on one thing only, whether it's a particular niche, a particular message. But to be successful online, and there's so much noise out there, you need a clear, consistent message about what you do. And you really need to have one service that you sort of repeat, 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 and repeat some more, that you'll bore yourself silly, maybe. But the thing is with online business, we all know we're fighting algorithms the whole time to be seen, and therefore you might say something 10 times, but the reader or listener or viewer might only catch it once of those 10. If they happen to have caught it before, fair enough, they might then skim through, but you'll catch new people each time. So it's about deciding on what your core message is, what makes you particularly special, why should people come to you, and what is it, the main thing that you focus on. Because even though many of us, and particularly when we're business owners, we're super talented, we can do 101 things. So it's really, really hard to say, no, I just do this one thing. But here's the secret. You put out there that you do one thing, but your business is like an underground root system from a tree. So the trunk of the tree is your core message that you're putting out there. But once people are in your world, you feed them and nurture them through the root system, where you'll have other services.
Such a great tips. And you know, when you actually your business grow bigger, you can actually outsource some of the services to other entrepreneurs. I think that's how like development agency, for example, that's how it works.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Outsourcing, once you know what your core message is, outsourcing becomes a lot easier. And I hear a lot of people starting going, well, I don't think I'm ready to outsource. Like, should I have a VA? What can I give them? And until you run through your services or your programs or your online courses yourself, it is hard to outsource those elements. But once you've done it once, absolutely. The main way to scale is, we've got to control our energy, and you've only got so much time in the week. And it's really easy for us all to forget, simple things like follow up emails, which VAs in particular are wonderful at helping us achieve.
Yes, so true. So Susanna, do you like I know that you've got coaching program, but do you also work one-on-one with clients?
Yes, I have a mentoring program where I take 10 clients a year, and it's a 12-month mentoring where people can come in to that in terms of longer term. But I do also offer a few sort of 1 hour or 90-minute sessions where people want to really pinpoint one section of their business. So I have something called a blue sky strategy session, which is 90 minutes. And during that, this is quite often when people are at the start of their business. And I'll give them that broad overview of what is possible in their industry, in their niche, and how the whole online business world works, what sort of systems, platforms, email clients are out there. Because it's really easy to forget as well. Those of us who've been in online business for a while, it's really easy to forget that there's a lot of people who are still discovering the joys of working online. Obviously, this year, 2020, a lot more people have come online than they did before,
Yes.
and they need our help and understand that it's a huge minefield. There's so many adverts all screaming that they've got the solution. So, how you find the person you want to work with, I would always recommend, reach out, have a chat. Don't be scared to get on a Zoom call, like connect with people, and then you won't regret any decisions after.
Yeah, that is so true. I think doing your own research is very important. For example, whether your website should be hosting on the WordPress or not, or Wix or email platform, there's so many different tools out there. So even if you have to make that tiny decision, it will take you ages. So it will be good to have someone that actually guide you through, because I think as an entrepreneur, if you're on a different level, you probably need different tools. It depends on where you're at your journey.
Absolutely. That's a really good point you made there, because when you're just starting out, there's certain tools is all you need. You don't need all the bells and whistles. And there's a lot of really great tools that you can accomplish and use on a low budget, if not zero budget, that get you started. And that's where you can test your messaging and test your niche. So only when you're certain that you found something that people want, then you, as you say, you can move up to more complex tools. But you can waste so much time learning tools that you just don't need at the start.
Exactly right. So I know that in your member vault membership site, you do have a lot of coaching program and also freebies. Can you share one of your freebies with us?
Yeah, one of the favorite ones I have is called the Overthinker's Action Plan. And this is, again, a lot of my people, a lot of introverts as well, we get stuck in our heads because we're just like, oh, I need to think about that. So, what this Overthinker's Action Plan does is it gives you a detailed 12-page, in depth, 3-step framework that will start to attract and engage clients to your business, and it will help you test your message, see what you're doing. And I delve down as well and give you the framework of like your welcome sequence for your emails. What should I send when, how far apart, how much is too much? All those questions are answered, and people love that one because it's simple, gets them going, and they're taking that first action to welcome the very first clients into their business.
I just love the name Overthinkers. I love it. And also for all the guests like on my podcast, I'll actually ask, do you have like a pay offer that you can offer like a discount for our listener today?
I do. I've got a very special 50% discount that Vanessa, I'm sure,
Wow.
will share underneath the code and coupon for. And this is my Magenta marketing method. And this is where I share 5 proven introvert friendly ways to market your business online. So these are all methods and strategies that I've used to test and has helped my business grow. So this isn't me repeating from anyone else. I've tested these for you. So again, all my trainings, this training is 60 minutes total coaching spread into 3 modules. So it won't take you long to consume. Obviously, to implement an action, it will take slightly longer, but that is a great starting place to really get your marketing going in a way that's comfortable for you.
Wow, I love both your freebies and also your pay offer. I'm sure that someone actually gets things started will benefit from them. So what I'll do, I'll put all your links like down the show notes and then also your social media channels. And thank you so much today, Susanna. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Vanessa, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.